Welcome to this video that could completely change the way you think. If you've ever walked away forgetting someone's name just seconds after they said it, or spent hours studying only to blank out during the exam, or even entered a room and completely forgot why you were there, then this video isn't just helpful, it's for you. You're about to discover the exact steps that can unlock your brain, boost your memory, and help you remember anything you want for life. This isn't one of those 5 tricks to improve your memory videos. No, this is a deep, practical system that can actually change how your mind works, starting today. And here's a bonus. You'll also improve your English as you watch. By listening, you'll pick up clear, real-life English sentences, sharpen your comprehension, and naturally grow your vocabulary. So whether your goal is acing exams, remembering everything you read, speaking English more confidently, or training your mind like a genius, stick with me until the end. If you apply the steps I'm about to show you, you'll never forget what really matters again, and you'll finally get that feeling of trusting your own mind. Let's start with step 1, understanding how memory actually works, the real reason we forget. Before you can learn to remember everything, you have to understand why you forget in the first place. Most people assume they have a bad memory. They say things like, "I'm not smart. My brain is weak. I just can't memorize things." But here's the truth. You don't have a weak memory. You have an untrained one. And the first mistake most of us make? We were never taught how memory actually works. Let me break it down simply. Think of your brain like a library. Every time you learn something, a name, a date, a fact, it's like putting a book on a shelf. But if you don't organize that book, label it, or revisit it, it gets lost in the chaos. That's exactly what happens in your mind. Information comes in, but it doesn't stick because your brain never moves it from short-term memory into long-term memory. And that's the key difference. Short-term memory versus long-term memory. Here's how it works. Short-term memory is like a whiteboard. You write something down, but if you don't save it, it's wiped clean. Long-term memory is like a permanent notebook. Once something is stored there, it stays forever. Most people, though, live in short-term memory. They hear a name, but never repeat it. Read a page, but never connect it emotionally. Cram for exams, but never revisit the material. So the information never makes it to long-term memory, and then it vanishes. Imagine this. You're at a party and meet someone new. "Hi, I'm Jason," they say. You smile, shake hands, chat for a few minutes, and move on. 5 minutes later, someone asks, "What was his name?" And your mind goes blank. Why? Because your brain heard it, but never really processed it. It wasn't repeated, and it wasn't linked to anything meaningful. It wasn't connected to anything, and it wasn't visualized, so it simply disappeared. Now picture this. You meet Jason again, but this time you think, Jason, like Jason Statham, the actor, and you notice he actually kind of resembles him. You smile, repeat his name out loud. "Nice to meet you, Jason." And later, you recall it again. "Jason, what do you do now?" Just like that, your brain has focused, made connections, and repeated the information. It's built a stronger mental path. The next time you see him, the name sticks. Here's the truth. Memory isn't some magical talent. It's a skill. And like any skill, it starts with understanding how it works. If you keep shoving information into your brain without knowing how it actually stores it, you'll always feel lost. But if you take these steps seriously, you'll finally feel in control. So before we go further, remember this. Your memory isn't broken, your system is. And today, we're going to build a brand new system together. Step 2. Pay full attention, because you can't remember what you never truly noticed. Here's a hard truth. You don't have a memory problem. You have an attention problem. You can't recall what you didn't really see. You can't remember what you didn't actually hear. You can't hold on to anything your brain never focused on in the first place. Why does this matter so much? Because if you don't fix your attention first, none of the other memory steps will work. Every single day, your brain is bombarded with millions of pieces of information, sounds, colors, movements, words, faces, texts, notifications, noises, headlines, voices. If your brain tried to remember all of it, you'd go insane. So it makes a choice, what to keep and what to forget. And the deciding factor? Your attention. If you focus on something, it sticks. If you don't, it vanishes as if it never existed. Your attention is literally the key that unlocks memory. Imagine this. You step out of a taxi, exhausted, checking your phone and thinking about dinner. You pay the driver and walk away, but leave your bag in the car. 5 minutes later, panic sets in. Oh no, my bag. My passport. My laptop. You try to recall the car's license plate, but your brain gives you nothing. Why? Because it wasn't paying attention. You saw the car, but you didn't really look. You heard the driver's voice, but you didn't truly listen. Your brain never saved that data because you never told it to. Now imagine if you had paused for just 1 second before stepping out of the car. Taken a good look at the license plate. Noticed the driver's face. Said to yourself, okay, this is a white Toyota with plate number 8473. That single second of focused attention could have saved you everything. The same happens in a classroom or on YouTube. Someone says something important, but your mind is elsewhere. You hear it, but it never enters. You read a sentence, but you're thinking about a song you heard earlier. You listen to a podcast while texting a friend at the same time. Later, you say, I studied, but I don't remember. No, you didn't study with real attention. You were physically there, but mentally absent. If your mind isn't present, your memory won't be either. And here's the kicker. It's not really your fault. The world is built to steal your attention. Social media, notifications, multitasking, constant noise, they all train your brain to stay distracted. But the truth is simple. You can't save a file you never opened. So don't blame your memory, blame your focus. Memory starts with attention. From now on, whenever you want to remember something, stop, pause, look, listen, say it out loud, repeat it in your head. Give it real focus for just 5 seconds. Those 5 seconds can be the difference between remembering for life and forgetting forever. Now you see it. Attention is the door. If you don't open it, nothing gets in. And that's why step 2 is the foundation of memory mastery. Step 3, turn words into pictures. Here's why. Your brain thinks in images, not in text. Now that you've trained your attention, it's time for the next big secret. Your brain doesn't actually remember words. It remembers pictures. Let that sink in for a moment. If I say the word elephant, what pops into your mind? The letters YELEPHANT? No. You picture a huge gray animal with a long trunk, flapping ears, walking slowly across the savanna. That's how your brain stores information, as images, not words. So if you want to remember a name, a word, a fact, or even a number, you need to turn it into a mental picture. Here's why this changes everything. Words are boring and abstract. Your brain doesn't know what to do with them. But images, they're alive. They have color, motion, emotion, and shape. For example, you meet a girl named Lily. If you just think Lily equals a name, you'll forget it within minutes. But imagine her hair is made of white lilies, or she's holding a bouquet of lilies while smiling. Suddenly, her name is tied to a vivid image. Your brain thinks, oh, that's interesting. Let's remember this. The funnier, stranger, or more exaggerated the image, the stronger the memory. Want to remember the word volcano? Don't just picture a mountain. Imagine a giant birthday cake erupting with molten red chocolate lava. Add the sound, boom. Add the smell, burning chocolate. It sounds silly, but that's exactly why it works. Memory is built from emotion and movement. Your brain remembers things that make it go, whoa, that's cool. Now try this with a list. Milk, eggs, book, shoes, cat. Don't try to memorize it like a robot. Turn it into a story. Picture a giant milk carton reading a book, sitting on a pair of shoes, while a cat in glasses watches, and eggs fall from the sky like snowflakes. Suddenly, you're laughing, you're seeing it, and your brain remembers it effortlessly. Stories and images stick, bullet points don't. This is the exact technique memory champions use to memorize hundreds of words in minutes. Actors remember long scripts. Language learners retain thousands of words. Business speakers deliver presentations without notes. And now you can do it too. Don't just read. See it, Feel it. Animate it in your mind. Turn names into faces, ideas into pictures, facts into funny or crazy images. When you do this, your brain stops being a leaky bucket and becomes a vault of clear, unforgettable pictures. This single step can make your memory 10 times stronger, especially for learning English, vocabulary, speeches, or anything you want to hold on to forever. Step 4. Use the story method. Your brain is wired for narratives, not lists. Here's the truth. It doesn't like boring facts. It loves drama, characters, emotion, and stories. That's why this next memory tool is so powerful. If you want to remember anything in life, wrap it in a story. This method is incredibly effective. Memory champions, Hollywood actors, teachers, public speakers, and even ancient philosophers have used it for centuries. Why don't lists work? Imagine someone says, "Here's a list, remember it. Apple, horse, jacket, candle, ice cream, cloud, socks, chair, tree, monkey." You might remember 3, maybe 6 if you really push, but 5 minutes later, gone. Why? Because lists are disconnected. Each item floats alone. No links, no feelings, no relationships. Now let's change that. Instead of memorizing, we create a crazy, funny, emotional story. Ready? Picture this. A giant apple falls from the sky and bonks a horse on the head. The horse screams, bolts into a shop, and grabs a jacket. It lights a candle to see in the dark, but accidentally melts an ice cream cone. That ice cream explodes into a cloud, raining socks. One sock hits a chair, which magically grows into a tree, and from that tree, a laughing monkey swings down to give you a thumbs up. Now pause, close your eyes, and replay the story in your mind. You'll remember every item in the exact order. Why? Because it's no longer just a list. It's a movie in your brain. Stories connect each piece of information. One thing leads to the next. Stories have motion, which your brain loves. Stories have emotion, and even if it's silly, your brain thinks, "This is fun." Stories create a visual scene. Suddenly, it's not just text anymore, it's memory. This is why children can recite fairy tales word for word but forget their math lessons, and why movie lines stick in your head for years while news headlines vanish by the next day. Want to remember your to-do list? Turn it into a story. Want to memorize foreign words? Make each one an image and link them into a story. Need to give a speech without notes? Turn every point into part of a narrative in your mind. You'll never have to memorize again. And the story doesn't need to make sense. The crazier, the better. Your brain remembers surprise, not logic. So give yourself permission to be creative, weird, even childish. This isn't just memory improvement, it's memory liberation. Use the story method, and if you do it right, you can make anything boring unforgettable. That's the superpower of memory. Step 5. Practice spaced repetition. Because learning something once is fake learning. Here's a painful truth. Cramming for exams doesn't create lasting memory. Your brain needs time, space, and repetition to lock things in permanently. This is where spaced repetition shines. It's one of the most powerful memory techniques in the world and is used by language learners, medical students, memory champions, and top performers in every field. Here's an easy way to understand it. Think of memory like writing in sand. You learn something today and write it clearly. But tomorrow, the wind blows, waves crash, and it fades. By next week, it's gone. That's called the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve, a real scientific phenomenon. If you don't review information, your brain quickly forgets it. Here's how to beat it. Learn something once, review it after 1 hour, review it again after 1 day, then after 2 days, for days, 1 week, and 2 weeks. Each time you review, your brain thinks, "Oh, this must be important," and saves it deeper. After 5 or 6 spaced repetitions, that memory becomes permanent, like turning sand writing into a stone carving. For example, take the English word serendipity, which means finding something good by chance. You love the word, tell a friend, and then never see it again. A week later, it's gone. Why? Because you didn't repeat it. Using spaced repetition, here's how it works. Day 1, you learn serendipity and write a sentence. I found a beautiful book by serendipity. 1 hour later, you say it out loud. Day 2, you use it in conversation. Day 4, you write a short story with it. Day 7, you hear it in a podcast. Day 14, you teach it to someone else. Now that word belongs to you forever because you didn't just meet it once, you had a relationship with it. That's how memory works. Many learners use apps like Anki, Quizlet, or Brainscape, which automatically test you at spaced intervals. But even without apps, you can do it on paper. Make a box, write the date, and check back every few days. It's not about the tool, it's about timing. So many people feel broken, thinking, I studied this for hours, but why don't I remember? The answer is simple. No review equals no memory. One-time learning is like watering a plant once and then never again. Spaced repetition is like watering gently, consistently, until it grows deep roots and stands strong forever. Apply this technique, and your memory will stop being temporary. When you apply all these techniques, your memory won't just work. It will become permanent, reliable, and ready whenever you need it. Step 6. Use emotional connection, because feelings make memories stick. Let me share something so powerful that once it clicks, your memory will start transforming instantly. The stronger the emotion you attach, the deeper the memory embeds itself. Think about your own life. Can you recall the clothes you wore exactly a week ago? Probably not. But you can vividly remember the day your heart broke, the moment you were embarrassed in class, or the time someone gave you a compliment that made you tear up. Why? Because your brain doesn't store mere facts, it stores feelings. That's why this step is so powerful. If you want something to stick in your mind, you have to connect it to emotion. You could read the same sentence 10 times and forget it by tomorrow. But if that sentence made you laugh, cry, or feel strong, you'll remember it for the rest of your life. That's the power of emotion. Emotion activates a part of your brain called the amygdala, which signals, this is important. Store this forever. So whenever you learn something, ask yourself, how does this make me feel? Can I connect it to a real experience in my life? Can I care deeply about this? For example, you're studying history. April 15th, 1912, Titanic sank. Most people memorize this mechanically, as a date, and forget it immediately. But imagine learning about the 1,500 lives lost, how musicians kept playing as the ship went down, mothers holding their children, lovers whispering their final goodbyes, strangers giving up seats to save others. Suddenly, it's not just a date. It's a story about human bravery, love, and loss. Now, April 15th, 1912, will never leave your memory because you feel it. This works with anything. Every time you learn, ask, can I create a personal connection? Have I felt something like this? Can I feel joy, anger, sadness, or surprise? If yes, your brain keeps it. If no, it treats it like trash and deletes it within hours. Even with English words, don't just learn definitions. Feel the word. Take abandon. Don't just memorize it means to leave. Recall a time someone left you, or when you gave up on something you loved. Now the word lives inside you. Bonus tip, if you must, fake the emotion. Some subjects are boring, but adding even pretend emotion works. Take a math formula. Area of a triangle equals 1/2 asterisk base asterisk height. Dull? Picture the triangle as a pizza slice, and you're only allowed half. That tiny pain of losing half a slice will cement the formula in your mind. Silly? Yes, but your brain doesn't care about logic. It cares about emotion. Even fake emotion is better than none. Understand this, apply it, and every lesson will come alive. What's alive never dies. Step 7. Teach what you learn, because teaching is remembering twice. Here's one of the most underrated memory secrets. If you want to lock something into your mind forever, teach it immediately, right after you learn it. Teaching turns you from a student into a creator. Suddenly, you're not just receiving knowledge, you're mastering it. When you teach, you do 3 things. Recall it clearly, organize it in your mind, and explain it in your own words. This forces your brain to rebuild the knowledge from the inside out. Anything you rebuild, you never forget, It's like carving it into stone. For example, today you learn procrastinate, meaning to delay something. If you simply read it and walk away, your brain thinks, maybe this isn't important, and it vanishes within 24 hours. But if you tell a friend, do you know the word procrastinate? It's when we delay things we should do, like homework, exercise, or chores. I always procrastinate doing the dishes. Boom. Your brain just built a memory that will last. Teaching doesn't require an audience. You can explain it to a friend, speak out loud to yourself, write a social post, record a voice note, or make a mini video. Just activate your inner teacher, and your learning will deepen like never before. Students who teach after studying perform up to 90% better on tests. Doctors who teach interns remember procedures faster. Even spiritual leaders say teaching heals twice, once for the student, once for the teacher. Teaching proves learning and is one of the most powerful mental tools on earth. And the best part? It's free, instant, and available to you right now. Apply it daily, and you'll become a memory machine while inspiring others just by being you. Step 8. Create a mind palace, because your brain remembers places better than facts. This is a legendary memory technique used by ancient Greek philosophers and modern memory champions. People have memorized entire decks of cards, speeches, or hundreds of random facts in minutes using it. The mind palace is your personal memory mansion. Here's how it works. Your brain naturally excels at remembering locations, houses, rooms, streets, landmarks. Even after 10 years, you may recall your childhood bedroom, the couch, wall colors, kitchen smells, hiding spots, because space anchors memory. Now imagine placing any information you want to remember inside locations in your mind. You can walk through it like a hallway, collecting every detail you stored. That's a mind palace. Start simple. Choose a familiar place, your home, school, favorite cafe. The more familiar, the easier it is to navigate mentally. Walk through it in your mind. Front door, living room, kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, balcony. Picture it clearly, like a mental video game. Assign items to each location. For example, to memorize the planets in order: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Your mind palace might look like this. A living room. A pan on fire equals Mercury, hot like the thermometer. Kitchen. A perfume bottle sprays pink fog equals Venus, goddess of beauty. Bathroom. A spinning globe in the tub equals Earth. Bedroom. Red dust on the bed equals Mars. Balcony. A giant bouncing balloon equals Jupiter. Stairs. A ring around the pole equals Saturn. Terrace. A shivering ice cube on a chair equals Uranus. Gate. A blue ocean splashing equals Neptune. Close your eyes. Walk through your house, and you'll never forget the order of the planets. Your brain links space with memory, making it stick. This is how memory athletes memorize hundreds of numbers. They place them inside their mind palaces. Use it for speeches, vocabulary, facts, numbers, exam prep, or daily routines. Make your mental images strange, funny, emotional. Review your palace daily, stick with the same one, and it gets stronger over time. At first, it may feel hard, but like any skill, it becomes more powerful the more you practice. Eventually, your brain stops losing knowledge. It becomes a temple where everything you need is organized, safe, and instantly accessible. Step 9. Review before sleep, because night is when your brain decides what to keep. Here's something schools never teach, but science proves. The last 10 minutes before sleep can determine what you remember for life. Your brain has incredible nighttime power, and if you ignore it, you're throwing away your best chance to build lasting memory. And so we have come to the end. Now you know a system that really works. How to train attention, turn words into images, build stories, repeat, feel emotions, teach others, and use your mind palace. If you put these steps into practice, your memory will stop failing you. It will become reliable, alive, and your superpower. Imagine yourself a month, a year, even a few minutes after studying. You have memorized names, dates, words, facts. You feel that your brain obeys you, and not the other way around. You are no longer lost in the chaos of information. You control your memory and can do whatever you want with it. And remember the main thing. Memory is not a talent, not magic, and not something you are born with. It is a skill that you can develop. And like any skill, it requires attention, practice, and a little creativity. So use these steps, experiment, play with images, emotions, and stories. Teach others, repeat before bed, and watch your memory transform from a leaky bucket to an unbreakable treasure trove. Now is your time. Start right now, step by step, day by day, and you will feel the freedom, strength, and confidence that comes from true, reliable memory.